Hello, everyone. It's Mike from Downtown Comics, and I'm here as always with James Rossman. James, how are we doing today?
Good, Mike. How about you?
Good. We got a lot of comics to talk about. Before we begin, downtowncomics.com is a place to go to check out all the new releases. And liking, sharing, and subscribing is appreciated. And any comments you have on books we've talked about or things you're reading that maybe we didn't mention would be, we like reading those. So, all right, James, what do we got first today?
Yeah, up first is Battle Beast number 2.
Okay.
Did you get a chance
Invincible?
to read the first one?
I did not.
Okay,
No,
okay, gotcha. Okay.
No.
All right. So this one essentially picks up kind of where the first issue left off. Basically, Battle Beast, he's on this ship and he's, searching for this opponent that is strong enough to kill him, essentially. So he wants to, what do you call that? Like a...
Test himself?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Okay.
But the ship was like, oh crap! Like the beast that he fought in the first one, the ship was like, that's all I had. Like I thought that might have been the biggest, foe in my databases.
Sure.
So, the ship is kind of out of ideas, and it's kind of funny because the ship has so much disdain for Battle Beast that it's not even funny because Battle Beast killed everybody on the ship, so it killed the entire crew. So
is the ship being forced to help Battle Beast then, or
not essentially forced, but it's like the ship wants Battle Beast dead.
Okay,
yeah.
So it wants to find someone that can beat him. Okay,
yeah. So they're both kind of in this together.
Okay.
But at the end of last issue, there was this like half creature named Prince Salaka. And so during this whole issue, essentially, Prince Salaka is like, hey, there's this creature on my Earth or my world that could probably take you on. But he's seeing how he's a prince. He's always like dragging himself across the floor, and he's like I said, like half body.
Right.
And so they go to this other world that essentially to find a body for him, and they're like, well, there's no one, on this planet that can give you a body, that can build it. But he's like, actually, though, we have essentially like one in the back that's already, that someone has one, or they got it from somebody else. And so, but he was like, but you essentially would have to win the blood games. So it's like, blood games are like these, it's just fights, essentially.
Okay.
So,
right.
I think Battle Beast goes through 6 or 7 rounds, and he wins all of them. So he gets the body, and but the beast on Prince Salaka's planet is called the Juggernaut. So that's kind of like where we kind of end off on. Let me see. But yeah. So essentially, they're going to his planet, and for Battle Beast to fight him, and hopefully that'll be. Obviously, it's not going to be because it's only the second issue,
right.
So he's he's probably gonna win. But yeah, it's really fun. It's nothing. I think this is probably some of Ryan Ottley's best artwork. I think.
Okay.
Because he did Invincible.
Yeah, and he did Spider. Did he do some Spider-Man?
I think he did. Yeah, because he did some stuff from Marvel. But honestly, with all of that, I think Battle Beast is probably some of his best work, to be honest.
All right.
But it's interesting because the story is essentially in Battle Beast. The story is essentially in service of the action. So the action's like taking priority more of the story, which is kind of cool. Like you don't have to read too much into it,
right?
So it's it was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so for my first one, we're going to do the last issue. It was way late because they were probably waiting on the art. Was Avengers versus Aliens number 4. So we had our Aliens crossover with the Marvel Universe, kind of, basically. I mean, it's more like the Marvel Universe versus Aliens, but it involved the Avengers. And as we last left, most of everyone is dead. Mr. Sinister... That's so-and-so. He had basically become the David of the Aliens. Like if you were, the Alien franchise, David was kind of a messiah or whatever, and it's Mr. Sinner's in a similar situation, and he's been experimenting on the aliens.
Okay.
And you come to find out that obviously Mr. Sinister has like a ton of clones, and I'm not sure if one clone was doing it and the other ones didn't really know, but basically the aliens started killing the clones to breed more aliens. And so basically throughout this process, over killing and birthing Sinisters, the super alien emerges. Okay. And it's all red, and I think there's a thematic reason why it's red, and I won't really mention that until the end, but basically not only does it have the usual alien power stuff, it also has X-Men genes in it.
Of course it does.
So yeah, so the rest of this is a fight with the last remaining X-Men / Avengers. And then also that comes into the fray, the Wakandan Empire comes into the fray. So Black Panther comes in to try and help, but he has a bad news that the Wakandan Empire has been destroyed by the aliens.
Okay.
Because I guess the aliens use their Stargate technology against them. So they infected a world and then was able to use the Stargate to just travel to their other worlds really quick and infect them all super fast, and they couldn't stop it. So they're pretty much decimated. So yeah, it's an all-out battle of whoever's left versus the super alien, and the super alien pretty much is killed, because the only ones that are left are the ones that are kind of unkillable. You have Armor from the X-Men. I don't know if you know her.
I don't think so.
She's just someone who can manifest this like armor around her, like this energy armor.
Okay.
She's basically invulnerable. You've got Captain Marvel. She's super powerful. Who else? I forget. But like the 3 or 4 that are left are pretty much the ones that can't die, except the super alien pretty much wastes them for the most part. So things are looking bleak, but then the secret weapon gets invoked. And that's where I'll leave the story to save it for the end. But it's a good ending. I would think that the good thing about this book is the visuals. There's not a lot of dialogue. Like they're letting the art and the visuals tell the story.
I like that.
And the art is of course great. So it was worth waiting for, and it's a double-sized issue to end it. So but it reads pretty fast because there's a lot going on, you know. So, but yeah, it's one big fight to save the universe from the alien threat, and they are able to, you know, accomplish that. So
I think I have the first 2 issues, but at that point I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till the trade paperback comes out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see where people would do that because I mean, yeah, the amount of time between issues was pretty expansive. You know, between 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4. So I get that if someone like bowed out after 2 or forgot that it was coming out. But,
yeah.
But well worth it. So yeah, if you did wait, I mean, hopefully now the trade will be out in a month or so, and you can pick it up. But yeah, I love the whole thing, Hickman. You know,
cool.
Aliens, cool.
I don't think there's been anything by Hickman that I haven't really liked that I've
read.
Yeah,
it's hard to find something I don't really. At least we'll read. Yeah.
All right. Well, next up is Bring on the Bad Guys Doom.
Okay, we both read this one, so it's the start of a new little mini event. I guess I should have realized since they were all the same title, but I kind of thought they were going to be. I mean, they're all going to be that one shot that tie into a bigger story kind of thing. So this is the first one. So yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, and another thing about this is it does not appear to be connected with any of the current Marvel continuity.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, or it's not mentioned. Yeah, nope.
So yeah, this is a completely separate Doom from the Sorcerer Supreme that we're dealing with right now.
Yes.
When we're under Doom. So, but in this issue, Dr. Doom receives word that a woman named Sister Sorrow, who is a new character. This is the first appearance ever of her. I believe.
Yeah, she seems familiar, but I don't. She seems like her visual is familiar, but maybe I'm just getting like a Hela vibe off of her or something.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or Sin from the Red Skull's daughter kind of thing. It's almost like they're a combination. But anyway, yeah she's new.
Yeah. She's essentially traveling the world to obtain these 5 mystical daggers that once brought together can activate this mystical artifact known as the Soul Forge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially that's what this whole issue is essentially about.
Yeah, well, setting up this storyline. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and so I can't remember how she gets in contact, like how her and Doom find each other.
I think Doom. Well, I mean, she's going after these specific daggers she needs, and I think Doom figures out where one of them, and she comes.
That's right.
He comes across her and watches her.
Yeah, because he's like an invisible cloak. Or
yeah,
something
right.
Like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then she knows he's there, and they fight.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah. I think that's like towards the middle, but yeah. I mean that's let's see. So she basically when they meet. She already has one of the daggers, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's why, Doom's trying to, like, hey, give me this, essentially because Doom... This is a very... Like, Doom is very Doom in this issue.
Right.
Yeah, he's very much like, I am the one that, needs to have all these, essentially, to, gain all the power.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether he ends up wanting this or not, but he Does he figure out who's behind it all by the end? I mean, we know by the end, but does he know by the end?
I don't think so, because
he may suspect.
Right, because it's Sister Sorrow, and essentially, I won't ruin that part.
Right.
But yeah, we get a flashback sequence to how the Soul Forge was created,
right,
and who it was created by. It's like how many different characters? Like
I think six.
Yeah, okay.
You've got it's basically the dark sorcerer of all these different. So the Atlantean dark sorcerer, and then there's a Wakandan dark sorcerer.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of like all the big, I don't know, big races or whatever has some sort of, of course, like a dark witch or a dark sorcerer or whatever, and they're all getting together to try to make this evil thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of essentially the whole issue, really.
Yeah,
it's kind of a setup.
It's pretty straightforward,
and
then the story involves kind of fetch questing and stuff like that. But it's fun to see Doom in his element where he's kind of he's the protagonist hero type, and then we'll see all these other villains, because you do get a cameo by Abomination, which will probably set up his story. So so these are gonna connect. So because it's Abomination, I think Loki's has one, Green Goblin has one. Who's another one?
Because Green Goblin is next.
Oh, is it? It's not Abomination? Okay.
Yeah,
it's Green Goblin next.
Goblin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll see how this goes.
I thought it was kind of interesting because I was kind of reading ahead and looking at the other solicitations for these, and it sounds like this one, or all the other ones, will take place in the past, and Doom might be the only one in present day. So it'll be kind of, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, of course, they're all one-shots, but, playing into a bigger storyline. But, so that'll be interesting.
I mean, I liked it. It was fun. The art was good. Doom is always a fun character. You don't have to know anything to read this. It's self-contained, like we were saying. So, it's really fun. If you like bad guys, they're there and they're having a good time. So hopefully maybe they bring back Supervillain Team Up, because that was kind of a fun title from the 70s. I think they should bring that back. So all right. So that was both of us. So then go ahead and hit your last one. Then.
So my last one is Superman Unlimited #2.
I did read this, but I'll let you talk about it.
Okay, yeah, no
I don't
worries.
have much to say about it, honestly.
So the first couple pages of this issue kind of show the Daily Planet coming like online, essentially kind of help illustrate the new status quo for the Daily Planet being like the global news source, essentially.
Okay.
So that's like, that's what gets us into this issue. But you see like buildings in Gotham and Central City and all these other cities that are basically saying, hey, we're online, this city's online and such and such. But we also get a sequence with Lois in El Caldero, I think that's how you say it. And but more specifically Emerald City. Okay. Which is entirely made out of green kryptonite. So so this was in relation to the big asteroid
Okay, is this regular green kryptonite or is this different from...
It's regular.
It's regular green kryptonite. Okay.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing, like with Superman. Like in this issue, she's like, well, you have this whole, city made out of green kryptonite. Like, do you? And then they're basically like, no, we still respect Superman. Da 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 da. But while Lois is there, there's an attack by some like revolutionaries, essentially. So there's 3 soldiers wearing armor made of kryptonite.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, they had the checkmate symbol on them.
They did, yeah. I thought that was kind of odd.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but it kind of made me think of the way that Emerald City using the kryptonite, how the way that Wakanda uses vibranium, essentially. Yeah. So, but after this sequence takes place, Metropolis, we see Jack Ryder / the Creeper. Okay. For few pages, and he's hosting a podcast where he's talking about the ill effects of the kryptonite, but no one knows if it's true, and it's kind of funny because there was Clark Kent kind of interludes and is like, hey, basically kind of like a fact checker, right? And I thought that was kind of funny because he's like, yeah, if you're gonna talk about this stuff, you need to,
Was Richard Rider in the first issue? Because I didn't read the first issue. Was he in it, or is this his first?
I think he was, if I remember correctly. All right. Trying to keep all my Superman
storylines straight. It's hard, yeah. Okay.
But no, and then Superman. But during this time, there's a big like bank robbery essentially. Okay. And we see Superman. This is when we see Superman has all gold.
Right. Okay.
Which essentially is, him. He has like 200 seconds or something like that he's invulnerable to.
Yeah, it's some sort of reaction to the green kryptonite. Yeah. Okay.
And I won't say like what, we do get an explanation of why this is and how this becomes to be, but when I saw that, it kind of reminded me, it's like, wow, this is like Superman Super Saiyan, like essentially, like he's,
Yeah, I did. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Well, there is a lampshaded joke about power ups. Yeah. In video games, one of the younger characters, I think it's Superboy, is like, how do you become gold again? Well, you gotta hit a block and eat the mushroom or something like that. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. And this is only the second issue. Not too sure what the overall story is just yet. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of issues.
Well, it seems like that Emerald City or that country is going to become a focal point.
That's true. That could be. Yeah, for sure. That might be it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Enjoyed it.
So my last one is another DC book. So it's Batman and Robin Year One. So this is the Mark Waid kind of flashback series dealing with Batman and Dick Grayson when Dick Grayson was very young Robin. And of course it's him and Chris Samney who've done they did a really great run on a couple really good runs on Daredevil. So they work together very well. So it's a fun book. It's got more of that Batman Adventures vibe to it, more like the animated series. But anyway, in this issue, as we're getting closer, I think it's a 12-issue miniseries. I think this is number 8. So we're into the last fourth of the story. We finally find out that in the story, some file was stolen by Two-Face from Commissioner Gordon's office. Finally find out what that file is, and basically it's a file of names of rich men in Gotham with some sort of younger either son or someone as potential people that could be Batman. So Jim Gordon, it's very early on in their friendship, obviously, because it's very early on in the Batman mythos. So he was actually doing research into who Batman and Robin could possibly be. So he knew they probably had to be semi-wealthy to be able to do all this stuff. Obviously, it's a older man and a younger boy. So he was finding people that fit that profile and was keeping a file on them to see who could possibly be Batman and Robin. And of course, Two-Face had stolen that, and so Batman's now figured out that these people are specifically being targeted because they're trying to go down the list and see which one is really Batman. They're trying to find out who really Batman is. So So he confronts Commissioner Gordon with this information. He's like, yeah, I mean, I did do that, you know, because Batman like, well, don't you trust me or whatever. He's like, yes, I trust you. I did do that when we first met. I closed the file. I mean, I stopped. Like, I basically, at one point, I just stopped and it was stored away. That's why it was, you know, buried in my office, basically. It wasn't an active file. I stopped looking. Gotcha. But ultimately, that info's out there. So then we get, you know, a couple of things. And bottom line is, Bruce Wayne was on the list. And so in this issue, Clayface and the gangsters specifically target them to, again, try to prove that they're actually Batman and Robin. So that's kind of the adventure of this issue, and how they basically get out of it, you know, without giving away the fact that, you know, they're right. They are Batman and Robin. So another really good issue. Again, great art, and just, you know, Mark Waid's, you know, pretty much of a god when it comes to comic book storytelling. Absolutely. So this is well worth the read, even if you haven't started it yet. You could read this without have read the other 7. Again, once this is out in trade, if you want to wait, I highly recommend it for Batman fans if you haven't picked it up. So, nice. So there you go.
There seems to be so many Batman related.
There's and there always is, isn't there?
That's true. That's been
I mean, it's been since. I mean, I think the day they launched Legends of the Dark Knight in like 1989, I think that's when the Batman explosion happened. Like after that, because it was just Batman and Detective and the occasional thing, but after that it went to just like Spider-Man. Just always there's just a new Spider-Man project.
That's true.
There, you know, so I mean, there's no there's just
absolutely.
So no, plenty of Batman.
Sweet.
All right.
Awesome. All right, I think that about wraps it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, another good week of books. Yeah, there was a ton this week.
There's so much, yeah.
And there was so much that we're gonna do another one. So 3 wasn't enough for each of us. So check back for another video of this week's books. That's how many there were and how many we read. So thanks, James, as always. It was fun talking, and we will see you guys later.